Have you ever wondered why your life feels messy sometimes? Even when you know exactly what you should be doing? Like everything is clear, but nothing actually changes?
Why you keep delaying things again and again? Even the important ones? Even the ones that matter? Why does your space get more cluttered? Even when you don't want it? Even when you try to fix it? Why does everything come back again, no matter how much you clean? Like a loop you can't break. Today, you'll get your answer. And the truth might be deeper than you expect. Much deeper than just being messy.
So stay until the end of this video. Because this is not really about cleaning at all. It's about something bigger. It's about what's really going on in your mind, the patterns you miss, and the reasons behind what you do.
You might think you're just messy. Or maybe just lazy. But that's not the real problem. What if your environment is trying to tell you something? Something you've ignored? Something deeper?
Because your outer world reflects your inner state. What you see outside is not random. It's a signal. And right now, something inside you might be more overwhelmed than you realize, more tired than you admit. Your brain is not designed to handle constant overload. Too many things, too many signals at once. Every object around you is asking for attention, even if it's silent, even if you ignore it. Because your brain still processes everything, every object, every unfinished decision. And that creates stress instantly, before you even act, before you even try.
That's why you feel tired just by looking at the mess. Not because you did anything yet, but because your brain already started working. So you tell yourself you'll deal with it later. It feels like relief in that moment, like you're giving yourself a break. But when later comes, it feels even heavier than before. More to handle, more pressure building. Because the problem never disappeared. It just stayed there and kept growing, slowly, without you noticing it. So you avoid it again and again. And without realizing it, you are now stuck in a repeating cycle. This is not laziness like you think. This is a psychological loop happening inside your mind. And it's stronger than you realize. You feel overwhelmed, so you delay taking action. That delay gives you temporary relief, but makes it worse later. And that bigger problem creates more overwhelm. You avoid it even more, and the loop repeats. This loop feeds itself over time. It becomes automatic, and harder to break the longer it stays. Slowly, you start to think something's wrong with you, like you're the problem, like you lack discipline. But the truth is, nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is simply overloaded, and it's trying to protect you. Every object is a decision. Keep it, move it, or let it go. And every decision costs energy. When there are too many decisions at once, your brain slows down, then shuts off.
So instead of making a choice, you make none. You pause. You freeze without realizing it. And that doing nothing slowly becomes chaos. Not in one moment, but over time, layer by layer.
But clutter is not just random stuff around you. It's actually a pattern that reflects how you think.
Every item has a reason, even if you don't remember it, even if you stop noticing it. And if you look closely enough, you'll start to see something interesting, a hidden story behind the mess. Sometimes clutter is just delayed decisions, things you didn't want to deal with before, so you left them for later, never really comes. Because the discomfort is still there, waiting for you to face it. So instead of dealing with it, you quietly move away from it, without even realizing it. But avoidance doesn't remove the problem. It only hides it temporarily, and lets it grow in the background. Over time, those small things add up, one by one, until they become overwhelming. And now, it's no longer one decision, it's dozens, all waiting at the same time.
And that's when your brain says something important. This is too much. I can't deal with this right now. Sometimes, clutter is not about delay. It's about comfort. A space that feels safe. You surround yourself with things, not because you need them, but because they feel familiar.
They create a sense of control. a sense of stability, even if it's just an illusion. Because when life feels uncertain, your brain looks for something predictable, something it can hold on to. And objects become that anchor. They become your comfort, even if they don't help you anymore. Sometimes, clutter is about the past, things you don't want to forget, moments you want to keep alive. You attach meaning to objects. You connect them to memories, to people, to experiences. And suddenly, it's not just an item anymore. It becomes emotional. It becomes personal. Letting it go feels uncomfortable, like losing something important, even if it's just a memory. So you keep it, not because you need it, but because it feels like part of you. Other times, it's about the future, a quiet fear you don't notice, a fear of not having enough. You tell yourself, I might need this someday. It sounds logical, it feels responsible, but underneath that thought, there's something deeper, a sense of uncertainty. A fear that something might go wrong, that you won't be prepared, that you might lack something. So you hold on to everything, just in case, just to feel safe. Sometimes it's not about fear or memory, it's simply overload. Too many things in your life, too many responsibilities, too many demands, too little time.
Your energy gets used somewhere else. Your focus is already spent. There's nothing left for organizing. So your space becomes the last priority. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you're exhausted. And at this point, it's no longer about cleaning anything. It's about how you are living.
And this is where things start to become clear. Your environment is not the real problem. It's only the visible result.
The real problem is hidden inside your patterns, the way you think, the way you respond to discomfort. Because every time you avoid something small, you train your brain to avoid more. And that becomes your default behavior. And your brain will always choose the easier path, the one that feels safe, even if it creates bigger problems later. That's why avoidance feels good in the moment, but slowly destroys your control, without you noticing it. Because control is built through small actions, not big changes, not perfect systems. Every small decision you make teaches your brain something important, that you are capable. And when you repeat that enough times, your brain starts trusting you again, slowly, step by step. But when you keep avoiding things, your brain learns the opposite, that you can't handle things. And that belief becomes your identity. Not because it's true, but because you repeated it. You start calling yourself lazy, undisciplined, unorganized. But those are not facts. They are conclusions, built from repeated experiences. And if they were built, they can also be changed with new patterns. Change doesn't start with everything. It starts with one small action, one decision at a time. Not because it fixes your room, but because it rewires your brain. And that's what matters. Because your brain doesn't care about big goals. It cares about patterns, what you repeat daily. And patterns shape your identity. Not once, but over time. So the question is not how to clean everything. The real question is different. What pattern are you reinforcing? Every time you choose to act, you move slightly forward, even if it feels small.
And every time you avoid, you move slightly backward, even if you don't notice it.
This is happening every single day, in small moments, in silent decisions. And those small moments are shaping your life, more than big events. Because your life is not one big decision, it's thousands of small ones, repeated over time. And right now, you have more control than you think, even if it doesn't feel like it.
You don't need motivation. You don't need energy first. You need action.
Because action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't think your way out.
You move your way out. One step, then another.
And slowly, your environment changes. But more importantly, your mind changes with it. And when your mind becomes clearer, everything else starts to feel lighter, less overwhelming. And that's when you realize something powerful. You were never stuck. You were just repeating a pattern.
And once you see that pattern clearly, you can't unsee it anymore. It changes how you look at everything.
Because now, every object means something. It's no longer just stuff. It's a decision waiting to happen. And every decision becomes a moment of control. A chance to act differently. A chance to change the pattern. Not in a dramatic way. Not all at once. But slowly. Intentionally. Because real change is quiet. It doesn't feel like a big transformation. It feels like small progress. And at first, it might feel too small to matter. Like it's not enough. Like nothing is really changing. But small actions repeated daily create something powerful over time. A completely different version of you. Not because you forced yourself, but because you became someone new. Through repetition. Someone who takes action. Even when it feels uncomfortable. Even when it feels small. And that's where real control begins. Not in your environment, but in your behavior. Because control is not something you find. It's something you build, moment by moment. And every small action you take is a vote for who you are becoming, whether you notice it or not. So the question is not, why am I like this? The real question is different. Who am I becoming right now? Because your future is not decided by intention. It's decided by repetition. What you do again and again. And right now, you are always choosing something. Even when you do nothing.
Doing nothing is still a choice. Avoiding is still a pattern. And it still shapes your life. So the next time you see something small, something you usually ignore, pause for a second. And ask yourself one simple question. Not, do I feel like doing this? But something deeper. And what pattern am I choosing right now? Avoidance or action? Comfort or growth? Because that small moment is more important than you think. It's where change begins.
And when you choose action, even in a tiny way, something shifts inside you.
You prove to yourself that you are capable of change. And that matters more than anything.
Because confidence doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. From evidence you create. And once you start building that evidence, your brain begins to trust you again. Slowly, but surely. And when that trust grows, everything starts to feel easier. Less resistance, less chaos. Not because life became perfect, but because you became different, stronger, more aware. And that's the real goal. Not a clean room, but a clear mind. Because when your mind is clear, your actions become easier, and your life follows. So don't try to fix everything today. Just change one small thing, right now. Because that one small action might be the beginning of everything changing.
If this made you see things differently, follow for more insights like this.
And start changing your life, one small step at a time.